guys, welcome back to the Weekly Roundup. It's week 23, and we've got some great news for you. We've got more news than last week anyway for you guys. Obviously joined by the man himself, Cryptoinsightuk.
Hello
He's
there.
obviously in Bali now. He's still here though. The show goes on. And we're kicking off the week with the CPI/inflation read that came in on Wednesday, which was yesterday. 8.3. Not the worst that could have happened. Forecast was 8.1, I think it was, wasn't it? People thought it was going to be a bit lower, mainly due to the oil's price action, maybe. But I feel like the report exposed other products in the baskets, just food and all that kind of stuff, was a lot higher than expected. But market did not react well to it. I think, what were the facts? I think, didn't the stock market experience its seventh worst day, wasn't it, on record?
Oh, I'm not
something
sure.
Like that, something
I'm
crazy.
Not sure, yeah.
They took a big hit anyway. That's all we know. They took a big hit.
Yeah, I just saw that everything went down in like a split second. And actually talk about it in the newsletter this week. I've got some charts displaying exactly what happened and my thoughts on the whole matter. So I'm not going to go into it too deeply because this is the main thing I've covered in the newsletter this week in terms of news. So if you guys don't already subscribe to that, go and check it out. Links in the bio. But yeah, basically I just talk about why I think the market reacted the way it did, what the market did, and what we think is going to happen going forward, essentially. But
yeah,
we're just like bringing in all the biggest sources that we can find and writing about them. Essentially, it's a very uncertain time for any market, not just like inflation or oil or anything like that. Everything's so uncertain at this exact time. But it takes us on to the next point, which I'm sure we're going to talk about now.
Yeah, so obviously we could just relate this in swiftly. Obviously, UK inflation also hit 9.9%, which is dropping for the first time since September 21. So I guess you could take this positives out of it, but that's still a really high number as well. So I don't know why they didn't even put it in there. Like, it's still not a great number. But
imagine taking a positive out of a 9.9% inflation rate.
That's all we can do at this point in time. We have to take the positives because there's just so much negative news going around. Like, I think I tweeted it out yesterday on our Twitter account. It just kind of shows how emotional like investors are at the moment. I think then you tweeted out saying people just don't know where to put their money at the moment just due to the uncertainty. Like I said, I'm sure you're going to cover it in the newsletter anyway, but it's just crazy the way that markets are reacting to everything at the moment. It's just actually a bit baffling, but I can understand why it's happening. I expected some sort of volatility to come, whether it would have been to the upside or to the downside. So
everyone's just in panic stations, aren't they?
Panic stations everywhere. But we'll move on from that because I feel like we talk about inflation a lot recently. But this is big news, actually. This is actually really big news. It's a story that actually got a lot of hype on Twitter, I think. I feel like the Twitter community picked up on this story and like people are actually speaking about it. Normally, I feel like when we report on a story, no one really picks up on it. It kind of goes a bit flat. But Starbucks, obviously building its NFT loyalty program on Polygon, like this tweet says, it's massive. It is massive. I think they've got something like 10 million active users, I think, on their loyalty programs. Because everyone goes to Starbucks. Everyone knows Starbucks. It's a big, massive brand. It's a household name, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I felt like they're incorporating like their NFT loyalty program on Polygon. It's huge for the NFT space / crypto in general. It just kind of shows like these big corporations getting involved with blockchain technology. It's good to see. And even it says here, Starbucks holds more cash than many banks with 24+ million members, $1.6 billion in deposits in their card system. So it's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. And what it really does as well is it enables like the everyday person to start using Web3. Like they might even know what an NFT is. But let's say they go into Starbucks, and they scan a QR code. If they have some sort of membership, even if with Apple Pay, I'm pretty sure with Apple Pay now you can deposit straight into crypto. Like, let's say there's some sort of NFT broker out there, which there probably is that I don't know about off the top of my head, but you can buy straight from fiat into an NFT. They'll be like, oh yeah, you have to just do this step, download a MetaMask. All of a sudden, everyone's going to have them in MetaMask. And then they're going to say, oh yeah, then you literally just buy this item here and it gives you 30% off your coffee for the rest of your life, or like whatever it might be. People are going to do that, bro. When you go into stores, often nowadays, people say, oh, download our app, and then like we'll scan your code and then you'll get money off. What's the difference between doing that and downloading an NFT for the everyday person? They don't have to know about what an NFT is, but they could still be owning one.
Yeah.
And this is where it's
Yeah, 100%.
actually a huge deal, because right now the NFT space specifically, in fact I had a talk about this with someone the other day, is like, NFT space specifically is so niche because you kind of have to know about crypto before you can even look at NFTs. There's a big barrier there. It's like there's a step. The first step's crypto, the next step's NFTs. But this is going to take people straight from being not even knowing anything about Web3 at all straight into the NFT space. And it's a great way to do it. Like you don't even need to learn about the basics and the fundamentals of crypto to be able to be utilizing Web3. And this is actually where we're going to see mass adoption come through, because the general public aren't going to want to know about crypto, or might not want to know about it. Like my mum, for example, well, she does, because obviously I talk about it all the time. But someone else's mum like probably doesn't give a crap about Web3 or what an NFT is, but she's going to want to get discount on Starbucks. So
That's what I mean.
she might still be utilizing it through her phone. So what I'm trying to say is, I don't know if I've worded this very well, but it's just absolutely massive in terms of adoption, because it's the first real company that's saying, oh, okay, look, we're going to implement Web3, and people aren't even going to necessarily know about it. Not in a good way and not in a bad way. That they're just not. It's irrelevant whether they know about it or not.
Yeah, they don't need to know about it. Like you said, like I'm sure Starbucks are going to make how they're going to implement it really like user friendly anyway, because they know what you've just said. They know that people have really basic knowledge of crypto / NFTs in general, so they're not going to want to research it in order to benefit from the loyalty program. They're going to want it to be there right in front of them, so it's almost like a touch of a button that they can obviously use the loyalty program. So, I mean, even like 10 million active users, how many of them do you think know about crypto / NFTs? Not a lot.
No.
So they're not. They wouldn't like make it a complex thing anyway. But yeah, it's going to be a bit like they won't even know that they're using that kind of technology. They just want that money off, because that's what they're bothered about. So
yeah, exactly. And then
it's perfect way.
Like just as you might just get an app for any like store, like you might go into Adidas store and they might be like, oh, download the app, you get 10% off or whatever. Here it's just going to be the same, but with MetaMask, and you're going to have your NFT, and then all of a sudden these people are going to have a MetaMask wallet, and they might not even know that MetaMask is Web3, like we're saying. They might open it, see the Starbucks thing, and then Starbucks might say like, I don't know, like let's say you buy it, let's just say it's like a yearly subscription, I don't know, and I don't know what it might do, but then let's say the next time they open it, they just want to have a look at their subscription. Oh, I've been airdropped on Tuesday 50% off a latte. And then they can go in. But the sick thing about NFTs are, when they're scanning that, all the different stores are going to be able to see where people have participated, like where people have used the voucher, who's used it, what they get like every day. They're going to do, I don't know this for sure, but they're going to have the potential to do like personalized ads to people. You know how like you do with your shopping or whatever. They're gonna do that, but airdrop it straight to your wallet rather than just sending you a blooming coupon through the door. Like to your wallet, you'll get a blooming text come through from MetaMask or whatever, and it will say new airdrop to your MetaMask wallet, 50% off your blooming latte, your extra hot caramel latte that you have on Tuesdays. And that's crazy, isn't it? Yeah, it's mad. That's the future of economy, and it's not like the future like miles away, like not a speculative future. They're literally doing it.
Yeah, no, I like that. I've never really thought about that, to be fair, because obviously, like you said, everything's going to be on the blockchain. Like you can't just everyone's going to have access to that information, aren't they? So I guess the world's their oyster in terms of the way people try and market things now in the future.
Right.
Especially how everything's going towards NFTs.
This is what I've been saying about NFTs, and this is what I keep trying to explain to everyone. And like, I understand that no one really gets the value of like Bored Apes and stuff like that, and it's hard to get your head around because there's a lot of speculation there too. But like, we do not know the power of what these are going to do, like in the future. Like, not just talking about Bored Apes, talking about NFTs in general, but the Bored Apes are a great example because they've been the people who have innovated the most so far within the space, incentivized the users to hold the most. So there's the two things. And then we've got gaming coming in, which again I'm going to talk about this week in the newsletter. But you've got those three things that are like really going to come for adoption. They've got the treasury and the innovation. So they're ahead of like how anyone else really in the space is thinking. Yes, they might not continue to be number one, but they're probably going to be up there because they've purchased the IP rights of the number two biggest community as well. So not only have they got the treasury and the innovation, they've also got all the smartest minds who also think, okay, I think the same or similar to you. I bought one of your $100,000 NFTs because I want to be in that community, and they're all working together to innovate. So it's like you've got all the smartest minds with all the treasury, like why, and with all these potential options that we don't even understand, like how this could affect our future for NFTs being integrated now with gaming. It's like if you can't see that that's going to be like some sort of explosion at some point in the future, like you see something different to me because like I don't necessarily understand exactly what it's going to be, and it's not obviously for sure, but like where's the best place to be putting your money? Like it's like saying, like back in the day, like if someone was like, oh, here's an Apple Mac or whatever, and this is what it's going to be, but there was no real other competition. Obviously, it was Microsoft back in the day, but like imagine it's like an Apple Mac and here's or an Apple iPhone. Here's a 3310. Which one are you going to invest in?
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy. The NFTs, like this is why I've also written about NFTs a little bit in the newsletter this week, because I speak about Solana a bit, and I'm in the same camp as you. Like I think it's just going to explode to a completely new level that people wouldn't even expect, especially when the market picks up and then it starts to turn around. Even like future, it's just going to be crazy. Well, I say that for the newsletter.
Yeah, they're going to explode even more if we can, if the speculative projects like can integrate some sort of utility, like real world use case. And I keep talking about gaming because I think that's the easiest route for them to integrate something. But like at the minute, we see like even like Ape Fest for apes or whatever. Obviously, they're airdropping those tickets. It's pretty basic stuff. What is the next step? What can they do next? Can they integrate like, I don't know, like are they going to be airdropping people bloody houses or whatever? Who knows what they're going to do? These guys have got like all sorts of like capital, brain, everything. Like who knows? Who doesn't like knows where you could just be like, okay, you've got 8, 5, 7, 4, 5. I think what that mine is. Oh, actually, we're just going to airdrop you a house in somewhere to go and film something or talk to someone or anything. It could be anything. It could be like, oh, here's a holiday, or here's a whatever. Here's your Starbucks blooming membership for free because we've got 10,000 we've got a partnership with Starbucks and they're going to use some of our branding, and everyone who holds an ape gets a Starbucks every day or whatever for free.
But the fact of the matter is, if people benefit from it and they get something from it, they're going to be more inclined to participate in whatever it is, whether it's blockchain or not blockchain. So if someone's getting a free Starbucks or someone's getting a free ticket to like the special event, or if someone's getting a free house, they're going to jump on it straight away, aren't they? So,
yeah, because like we're talking about, like accidentally and also non-accidentally, it's going to increase participation because that person, when they go home and look at the app, they might think that MetaMask is the new Starbucks app. And then they might go to their friend, oh, look at the new Starbucks app, it looks pretty cool. Do you want to get one? Have a look at my like little token thing that I've got in there. Cool. And then they might start looking into it. Oh, actually or they have a bit of an understanding. Oh, okay, that's an NFT. That's pretty cool. Go to your friend. Oh, look at my NFT that I've got on my Starbucks wallet. Just from holding this, I've actually got 3 coffees this week. Then they're gonna be like, oh, let's have a look.
It's gonna be nuts. It's nuts. NFTs are crazy in my opinion, and there's any ways up for them. But yeah, if you wanna know more, if you need any more information about that, be sure to check out the newsletter this week. It drops on Sunday, 6 PM, like we always do.
Yep.
But we'll move on from NFTs, and just I thought I'd include this tab in there. It's not really, it's not massive news, but like obviously this saga's been going on for what feels like a year now. But South Korean court issues an arrest warrant for Terraluna co-founder Do Kwon. So they've had enough of him, and he's going to prison.
Yeah,
he's getting arrested.
I mean,
mad. It's crazy.
It is crazy, and at the same time though, like, what's going on in this world that we live in? Because Ripple being sued for potentially selling them registered security. They don't know if they are. They don't know if they're not. There's no regulation about it. Do Kwon has gone out there, whether he's done it by accident or not, fair enough, and lost. And Ripple haven't done this. Do Kwon has lost like billions, like what altogether probably like 35 billion, maybe more, in the people's capital. And then all of a sudden, he's gone out there and rebuilt exactly the same project again. And everyone's just sort of like, yeah, okay, like people are actually investing into it for like moonbag like people. But obviously, I know the community is probably strong, and I understand that. But you can't. Can you do that? Like, is that legal? Obviously not. But like, I just don't think it's right. Like, my guy's gone out there, he's probably lined his own pockets. Like, he's obviously not broke, otherwise how has he got a PC, and like he'll still be living somewhere and all these sorts of things. So he's obviously essentially, at least in a little way, run off with people's money, and then he's doing the same thing again. Obviously, you're going to have some sort of lawsuit after you.
Yeah.
But an arrest is
I don't know
flipping jokes.
It's crazy. Like, I can't say I saw it coming, but I knew something was going to happen with it, because they wouldn't have just let it. They wouldn't let that slide in terms of what impact it had to like other people, wider economy, all that kind of stuff. But,
yeah, and my point on it was not. I don't want to laugh at him, because I respect the fact that someone was, if they're trying to do it in an honest sense. If you're trying to innovate and you get it wrong, you do. I've got no problem with that. It's just weird how it happened, and then all of a sudden now it's like he's like building the same thing again. Whether it's the same or it's different, I don't know, because I'm doing research into it. I'm staying a mile away from it, but I'm just saying that
100%.
It's just not right the way that someone can go and lose that amount of money for the average retail investor and then start a company up again. Shouldn't happen. If you had a bankruptcy law in the UK or anywhere in the world, if you go bankrupt, you can't just restart a company. You credit problems. You have all these sorts of problems. And that's, I guess, where regulation will help. But at the same time, like, morally, surely my guy's thinking, oh, I can't do this. Like, I need to just...
I don't know. Maybe that's kind of proves his innocence a bit, but who knows? I don't know what's going on. I've not read it, because, like you said, I'm not interested in it. And even when it was pumping like last week, I hope no one watching this got caught up in that either. Like, I was saying to Will off camera that last week, I guarantee you a lot of people will lose money this time around. What happens a week later? He gets an arrest warrant and the price crashes again. So like, it's another example of why you stay away from stuff like this. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, we'll move on to probably the biggest news to do with crypto ever so far is the merge. Obviously, we spoke about it last week, spoke about it the week before, probably the week before that. It's official. Everything kind of went smoothly to our knowledge. But yeah, the transition to proof of stake is now complete. Price action today on Ethereum, 3.3% down, but I feel like nothing's really green today. Obviously, Bitcoin's 0.5. I guess we'll go into the charts later, but the fact of the matter is, there's been no sell-off that kind of people were expecting. I was completely happily say it. I thought there'll be a bit of a sell-off. Didn't happen today. 3.3% is quite a bit. I guess there's a lot more time in the day, but
yeah, I think it's just more of not just a bit of like a people letting off some stress, like, oh, it's done. Do you know what I mean? I think it's just going to be a quiet few days. Like, I don't know definitely. Like, obviously something could come out of this, but I feel like as an average crypto investor, the next few days are going to be pretty quiet, because everyone's going to be kind of like, what's going to happen next? Like, do we buy? Do we sell? Do we... like, let's just keep... I don't want to put a long position in case there's something wrong, or do I want to go short in case like loads of people come in and try and buy a piece? Like, I think the psychology of it's a bit weird for the next few days. So I think it would make sense to me to go sideways for the next like few days or so at least.
It does make sense, because I know even like myself and a lot of other people as well have taken trades off like coming up to the merge, because they were anticipating a lot of volatility coming into it. A lot of people speculated, obviously, crash here or a pump up there. So like, I think a lot of people closed a lot of positions recently, and I got all their capital still waiting on the sidelines. So I think sideways probably does make sense for the next couple of days, but it's still good though that nothing bad happened anyway. It could be worse. It could always be worse.
Yeah, I agree.
Obviously, we've tweeted about this as well this week. A slight hiccup in the XRP launch. It was obviously expected to happen fairly recently. I think it was like next week or some point. But they found a bug. They've identified the bug actually, and they've proposed a 1.9.4 release, which I think would have to get approved, and then the 2-week timer starts again, right? I'm right by saying that?
Yeah, you are. That's right. Yeah.
And then XLS20 will be, the countdown starts again. We've got another date.
Yep.
But
every 2 weeks.
Nothing too big, obviously.
Once it goes over 80%.
We'll kind of invested some money into some XLS tokens, as in like XLS NFT tokens kind of thing, try and take advantage of like the hype kind of dampening down. So could see a surge in those prices go into that approval if and when that happens. Just keep an eye on it, I guess, kind of thing. But I can't imagine it being too far away. I've seen some people tweeting like, things like this normally take 3 months to kind of fix, and completely resolved, which I
Yeah,
think is a bit ridiculous.
so they've already got, like you're saying, the patch has already been written. They just need to obviously confirm it to put it into, like to make it live, like the update. And then once the update's live, everyone needs to just like vote, yeah, okay, like we still want to go forward with the with NFTs, and then we're there. Like, so that's why I put that video out on YouTube about that. I was buying some Xpunk and some Expector. I bought some XL coin as well, but that third one was literal complete speculation. It was just a new DEX that I'd never seen before, and I think that when we get native NFTs on the XRP ledger, we should see a run up in the value of the tokens for the NFTs, but also increase in the users on the DEXs where the NFTs are going to be minted. So I took a stab in the dark at the XL coins or whatever it was called. I talked about it on my Twitter, on my YouTube. That was a complete stab in the dark. The other two projects have got quite a big following on Twitter, and I presume a lot of people want to mint, and they've come down about 50% in price over the last few weeks. So I thought I'll take a little stab at them. It's a completely speculative play. I'm sorry if you're watching this, anyone who creates any of either the Xpunks, Brad, I'm sorry if you're watching this, and Dirk, I'm sorry if you're watching this, who creates Expector. It's nothing against either of you. I'm just looking to flip a bit of XRP, and I know that you guys follow me on Twitter, so I'm sorry, but that's what I'm doing.
Opportunities there. When there's opportunity, you got to take it, I guess. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
But no, hopefully this kind of gets resolved, and I'm sure we will be updating you guys next week. So I think this will be turned around fairly quick, in my opinion, anyway. Especially like the news of this being proposed, whether it gets actioned or not. But we'll move on. Move on to a bit of XRP versus SEC news. Been quite quiet actually the past few weeks. I think we've not even covered it, but been picking up again a bit, because I feel like we spoke of off camera, a lot of other people kind of chiming in now as well. Here, like the Chamber, Jamie Hogan kind of tweeted, the Chamber of Digital Commerce amicus brief is very helpful for Ripple. So because they're not actually biased towards Ripple or the SEC, they've just kind of come in and given a neutral standpoint of whether XRP is a security or whatnot, and it goes on to like explain it here. The asset itself is not a security argument, but look at the bonus, pointing out the SEC's guidance says the asset itself is not security, but the SEC enforcement stated the exact opposite. So that's all that they're kind of trying to say. Like, they're kind of saying as the middle ground, they're saying it's not really, potentially not a SEC, especially on the secondary market as well. But the SEC have just kind of gone on that stance and kind of not budged anything.
Yeah.
So
and I think
it's a bit of a win for Ripple.
Yeah, I think the important part about it is that with the SEC's accusation of Ripple, by the actual law, the average person needs to be aware that it's obviously a security, and they're saying there that it is. They don't think it's a security, and the SEC is saying it's absolutely obvious that it is. And if they're basically a neutral party saying that they don't think it's a security, how could Ripple know that it definitely is a security without any sort of guidance, which is basically what they say there, and that what you just explained.
Yeah, that's spot on though, isn't it? Even like, obviously, I guess we're biased towards XRP, but like, it's something we've been saying from the start. Like, you can't they're just kind of just gone on that. They're taking that standpoint, and they've not given any like clarity. And I guess it's good to see other people chiming in and agreeing with that. So it kind of makes us feel like we're not just completely biased towards XRP. But yeah, I guess, and then we've obviously got James Phelan's. He's been tweeting a bit this week. I'm not going to lie to you, like I said to Will off camera, when he normally tweets, it kind of goes over my head. I don't really understand what he says, because they use a lot of like law terminology and all that kind of stuff. But this was quite interesting. He tweeted 15 hours ago, and an unidentified third party has filed a motion to seal portions of Ripple's defendant's motion for summary judgment that references the names of the third party's employees. So there's a bit of a mystery going on who this third party is. It doesn't really affect the case really massively, but it depends who that third party is. Whether we'll find out who the third party is another story. But what do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was a bit of an interesting one. I thought we should include it because who knows what is actually going on here. It's just like extra eyes and extra weight on the case, in my opinion. Like, that's the same even as the digital commerce thing before. It's a great help for Ripple, but it's more eyes on the SEC, as is this. There's someone involved here who, yes, I know that they're saying they just don't want their names of the employees to be involved, but now their eyes are on the case as well. So it's just like more pressure for the judge and the SEC and Ripple. Well, Ripple aren't really under pressure in my opinion because like they're just trying to defend themselves. Like if they're wrong, they're wrong. If they're right. But nothing they say or do is going to change that. Like nothing anyone else says or does is going to change that. But the SEC are the ones who are under pressure because they're the ones bringing a suit, and Ripple are kind of just trying to defend against it.
Yeah, I couldn't find a tweet. I was trying to get a tweet up before we went live, but I think there's something else is going on today with Gary Gensler. I think he's being questioned by some sort of, I don't know what it is. I'd love to get a tweet, and I guess we'll talk about it next week for you guys. But something else is going on, which just supports your point that more pressure is being put on the SEC and Gary Gensler. But yeah, I couldn't find a tweet for that. But I've just also got here just some timeline things that James Deland tweeted here. Obviously, today's the 15th, we've got parties meeting to confer and identify redactions, which kind of go public on Monday. But there's still a long way to go.
Yeah.
Just look at these dates. But there's a lot to do.
They've got to like argue backwards and forwards, and then they get handed in by a certain part.
It's so long, isn't it? When you actually look at like the way that the law system works, it's just so long-winded, isn't it? Like they've got to meet, redact certain things, make it public, and then appeal this, appeal that kind of thing. It's just so crazy, but that's the system. That's what it is. But nothing big really. I don't know. Nothing really big's happening in the XRP versus SEC lawsuit.
Well, let's hopefully we see a settlement.
Yeah, maybe something's going on behind the scenes. Maybe it's gone quiet for a reason. Maybe they're trying to settle something. Maybe they're negotiating something. Who knows what's going on? I guess we've got to the point now with this lawsuit. Who knows? Who knows what's going on? And then price action. We'll end on the charts a little bit. Obviously, we can see that big red candle that was from on the back of CPI reads, which was a bit annoying because the markets are kind of like gearing up to like quite a big, nice little move back up to the 30k range for Bitcoin, in my opinion, anyway. But one bit of news, boom, plummeted everything back down. Oil, I'm not going to touch that actually because I'm speaking about that in the newsletter. Bonds are still flying here.
I've not looked at bonds. Wow.
Not good to see. It's not really good to see that. I think I'm going to cover that next week in the newsletter because I need to touch up on that.
Is that the high, recent high? That double?
Yeah, that's the recent high.
The high here.
Could be. Yeah, I hope it's that anyway because everything's still getting into oversold territory as well. See, when it got to oversold there, what happened? It kind of came down, retested here. So it's going to be an interesting. That's a 10-year, 2 years are obviously still storming as well.
Jeez.
But yeah, obviously ETH still doing what ETH was doing. Nothing too much to really report on, apart from the bit of the crash on Tuesday. But on Wednesday, but
I think eyes will be off ETH like just in the next like few days, unless some institutions come through and they're like, yeah, cool, we'll buy it straight away. That is another play. Like obviously, I know for a fact that a lot of people are waiting on the side thinking, well, if it crashes, I'm going to deploy something into it.
Yeah.
So
even I'm in that mindset as well.
Yeah, so there could be people sitting here waiting, being like, well, it's not crashing, so over time it's probably going to rally, so now's as good a time as any to buy. So that's the other option that we've got.
Yeah, that's something you said, I think, a couple of weeks ago, didn't you? Like when people kind of, once the merge happens, people will be sitting there waiting for it. When they actually realise that, it's not going to crash or whatever, then everyone will start FOMOing into the investment kind of thing. Now the merge has been successful.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's always fear with like mergers and stuff like that something might go wrong. Like we've seen with the XS20 bug, anything could happen. So there is a lot of money sitting on the sidelines.
That's
could be quite, hopefully, well, not hopefully, but it could be quite into the week. It probably will be. And let's see. We've got some positive price action to report next week, but I think that's a wrap for this week. Pretty much covered everything.
Yeah, if you haven't checked out my Twitter threads, they've been absolutely popping this week. So go over and check them out.
Let's just quickly give you a bit of limelight because I feel like they are actually, obviously I'm biased. I didn't write them. Will wrote them, but they are really good threads. Honestly, this is the one he did today. Here currently at 194 retweets, 620 likes, incredible numbers. Just goes through XRP with Ripple and their relationship with the UK. He did one with India a couple of days ago, which also did very well. So go check them out, retweet, like them, show them some love because a lot of time went into these threads and it's just good information.
Yeah,
very clear.
Took me a long time.
Spot on. But yeah, that's a wrap for this week, guys.
Peace
week
up.
23 in the books, and we'll see you in week 24.
Down.